Halloween was almost over. Blaze wasn't supposed to break formation. 1 second the K9 was at Officer Ryan's heel. The next he ripped free, sprinting toward the tree line where the trick-or-treaters vanished. Their candy lay in a perfect ring, shimmering in moonlight. Blaze faced the woods and growled, a warning. Before we start, make sure to hit like and subscribe. And really, I'm curious, where are you watching from? Drop your country name in the comments. I love seeing how far our stories travel. At 10:57 p.m. on Halloween, the radio crackled. Dispatch reporting 2 trick-or-treaters drifting toward the forest line. Last contact garbled by wind. Officer Ryan rolled past porches gone dim and plastic pumpkins grinning their final grins, tires whispering over wet leaves. Beside him, Blaze sat centered, steady as furniture, ears flicking at every distant shout and every door's tired creak. The K9 was a veteran of searches and rescues, a nose that turned chaos into maps. Tonight his chest rose deeper, tasting something metallic, old. He parked at the forest edge where porch light died into brush, killed the siren, and stepped out into air smelling of damp bark and sugar. A paper mask hung from a twig, its elastic snapped, the cartoon smile backward toward the trees. Blaze hopped down, nose low, tail level, drawing a wavering line through puddles. Ryan called the children's names, voice landing flat among the trunks. The dog paused, head canted, then tugged forward. Ryan unclipped the leash to show the way and Blaze bolted. Ryan crashed through ferns into sudden quiet. Blaze's barking cut off like a switch. The path widened into moonlight. No kids now. Instead, candy glittered, foil-wrapped coins and suckers, scattered into a perfect circle as if measured by a compass. The sugar smell felt wrong, heavy and sweet. Ryan crouched, palm hovering above the ring's edge, sensing air cooler inside than out, as if the clearing breathed in. A plastic spider ring lay at 12 o'clock. A torn cape ribbon lay at 6. Whatever made this wanted to be noticed. "Hey," he called, voice swallowed by trees. The radio hissed. "Woods. Old trail. Copy?" Then died. At the circle's center, a lollipop stick stood upright, planted like a marker, its candy head gone, pointing toward a seam of darkness between pines. Blaze padded from that seam, tail low, whining through clenched teeth, eyes fixed on Ryan, then on the path beyond. He stepped over the ring with surgical care, nose tasting the air, and halted. He looked back, waiting, asking without a sound for permission to lead where the children had vanished. Blaze took the lead onto a forgotten service trail where roots rose like ribs under a thin skin of leaves. The world narrowed to wet bark, moth dust, and breath. Even the town's porch lights shrank to freckles behind them. A shredded ribbon of yellow caution tape clung to a sapling, stiff with age. In a patch of mud, Ryan saw a half-buried print, broad, deep, a heavy boot carrying weight that lingered. He snapped a photo, then felt the path subtly tilt downward, funneling sound. Somewhere ahead, a tinny click punctured the hush, the stubborn mechanical blink of a camera shutter. Blaze stiffened, then eased forward, nose sawing the air. Memory snapped into place. 10 years. A patrolman from the unit vanished near this grid, and the file froze like winter water. Ryan swept his light and found a bent name strip pressed into the mud, letters bruised but familiar. "Don't step off the path," a child's whisper drifted. Blaze froze, head tilted toward an impossible hollow in an oak. The oak loomed, trunk blackened near the base, its hollow opening like a mouth worn smooth by time. Ryan angled his light, inside, and saw shapes that didn't belong to trees. An old department flashlight with its serial scratched thin, 2 metal tags clinking together on a short chain, and a brittle map curled like a dead leaf, its edges penciled with small, insistent X marks along the disused trail. Dust drifted outward as if the tree exhaled. He thumbed the flashlight switch on reflex. It clicked and glowed. Fresh batteries. Someone had been here recently, standing where he knelt now, listening to the same cold, shallow breath. Near the rim, a strip of fabric snagged on a splinter, candy corn print unmistakable. the same Cape dispatch had described. Ryan lifted his radio. The signal crackled, thinned, then guttered to static as he leaned deeper. Blaze's low whine threaded the silence. Beneath the oak, something answered. A shallow scrape, metal on stone, dragging shut. The ground held its breath. Blaze stepped back, paws raking leaves until a hard rectangle revealed itself. A buried steel door, handle disguised under soil and roots. He looked at Ryan, eyes bright and urgent, then began to dig. Ryan clawed away the leaf mat until the hatch showed fully. Rusted steel, a recessed handle disguised with dirt and root. He heaved. A seam popped and cold, stale air rolled up from below, carrying the wet metal scent of film, batteries, concrete. Steps dropped into a black throat. Blaze crept first, deliberate, one paw at a time, nails clicking lightly, body low but certain. Ryan followed, flashlight shouldered, free hand on the rail that wasn't a rail at all, an old conduit pipe scabbed with tape. The temperature fell with every rung. Somewhere, a fan hummed like an insect trapped in glass. The corridor leveled into a room strung with hooks. Vintage Halloween masks stared from the walls, plastic witches, cracked skulls, a clown face gone gray, beneath them, child-sized shoes lined like trophies. A battery lantern thrummed on a crate beside a Polaroid camera, an unopened film, a half-wrapped chocolate bar. Wires bled into a humming inverter, papers fluttered in a draft, a photo on twine swayed, a clown costume mid-step, label scrawled, 10:31, perfect. Farther on, the air grew colder, drier. Blaze stopped at a heavy door, hackles rising, and looked back. Now. Ryan shoved the door, hinges screaming, and the room answered with a freezer breath cold. A chair waited in the center like a witness. In it, a uniform jacket clung to a ribbed cage of bone, the missing officer from 10 years ago, badge corroded but legible under grime. Along the cinderblock wall, string lines held Polaroids in rows. Pirates, witches, superheroes, tiny faces frozen mid-laugh. Pushpins wore dates, a harvest of Halloweens. Fresh prints hung wet at the end of the line. Tonight's kids blurred in motion. 2 clothespins stood empty. A radio lay cracked on the floor, still tuned to the old patrol frequency, whispering a looped hiss like a ghost calling for backup. Blaze swept the corners, nose quivering, then fixed on a vented crawl space. Ryan felt the hairs lift on his arms. He keyed his mic. Only static came back, a snowstorm where voices should be. Great costumes this year. A cheerful voice behind him. A masked figure lunged, screwdriver flashing for Ryan's ribs. Blaze exploded forward, teeth crushing the wrist. The lights died. The dropped camera fired, each burst freezing chaos. Hand, steel, concrete. Ryan swept a locker bar, hooked the ankle, slammed him, and cuffed him. He ripped open the crawl space. 2 kids, shaking, alive. Sirens rose. On the photo wall, 1 hook hung empty. Tonight's final picture. On the surface, paramedics wrapped blankets around the kids. Cocoa steaming in paper cups while parents ran, sobbing across the tape. Detectives sealed the hatch and cataloged the bunker, bagging the Polaroids and the corroded badge that finally closed a 10-year file. Blaze sat quiet. Ryan clipped the old tag to his lead, a promise, and scratched the dog's chest until the trembling left his hands. We train canines to find what's lost. Sometimes they find what we've been afraid to see. Daylight pushed Woods back. Hatch clicked, chained, and locked tight. If Blaze's instincts gave you chills, tap like, share to keep others safe, and subscribe for more true case storytelling. Hit the bell. You won't miss the next one.